Alright, Judges chapter 1. I highlighted and circled verse 22, 24, and 25. An angel rebukes Israel. I circled verse 2 and 3 in chapter 2. Verse 7 I circled. And Joshua died. I circled verse 13, 19. And then chapter 3 we have verse 7. Israel did evil again, so they served their enemies for 8 years. I circled verse 10 and 12, 14 and 15. 21 and 22 and 30 says, Israel had rest 80 years. 80 is 80. Israel did again evil. 20 years the Lord mightily oppressed Israel. And then I circled verse 21 and 23. Chapter 5 doesn't have anything. Chapter 6, it says that the Lord delivered them into the hands of Midian for 7 years. So they served Midian for several years. I circled verse 7. And I highlighted Gideon in verse 13. I circled 14 through 17, 19, 21 and 22, 25 and 26. 30 says, And the city said unto Joash, Thy son die, because he hath cast down thy son must die, because he has cast down the altar of Baal. Joash said, If he be a god, if Baal be a god, let him plead for himself, because one hath cast down his altar. That's a good point. Let him stand up for himself if he is a god. Gideon said unto God, If thou wilt save Israel by mine hand, I will put a fleece out on the floor. If the dew be on the fleece only, then I shall know that thou wilt save Israel by my hand. He goes through this test twice to prove the Lord will have him save Israel. So 38 through 40 I circled. Chapter 7, verse 2 says, Lest Israel say, Mine own hand hath saved me. Whoever is fearful and afraid, let him return. Lord said, The people are still too many. Try them. Everyone that lappeth, set by. And then lapped, putting their hand in their mouth, were 300 men. And they each be handed a trumpet. And they blew the trumpets on every side of all the camp of their enemies. And I circled verse 22. Verse 4 I circled in chapter 8. And 17, 22, and 23. And 30 reads, Gideon had 70 sons, and his concubine also bare him a son. His name was Abimelech. Israel turned evil again. Abimelech said, Would you rather have 70 people reign over you, or just one reign over you? And he hired vain and light persons which followed him, and he slew his brethren. Yet Jotham hid himself. So one of his 70 brothers saved himself. All the house made Abimelech king. Gaal said, Who is Abimelech, and who is Shechem, that we should serve him? I remove Abimelech. All the men of Shechem died. I circled 53 through 55, and 56 says, Thus God rendered the wickedness of Abimelech, so that God took him out. Tola judged Israel 23 years. Jair a Gileadite judged Israel 22 years. Jair died. Israel did evil again. In verse 8 I circled, and 10 in chapter 10. In verse 13, and verse 14 says, Go and cry unto the gods that you have chosen. Let them deliver you in this time of your tribulation. And 16 says, And they put away the strange gods from among them and served the Lord. That's good, they repented. Alright, chapter 11 says, The elders of Gilead said unto Jephthah, Our head be our head over all the inhabitants of Gilead. They wanted Jephthah to be their leader. Jephthah vowed, If thou shalt without fail deliver the children of Ammon into my hands, then shall be that whatsoever cometh forth of the doors of my house to meet me, I will offer it for a burnt offering. I circled verse 32, and 34 says, His daughter came out to meet him. She said, Let me alone these 2 months, that I may bewail my virginity. Alright, and then chapter 12 says, I circled verse 4, and it says, There fell of the Ephraimites 42,000.